So existentialism. Well, we're gonna break it down here. So existentialism means like to exist because it has the word exist in it. So we're gonna try to figure out what existentialism is. So existentialism is a philosophical theory or approach which emphasizes the existence of the individual person. Okay, I gotta take this off because you know how it goes, because there's just too much to go through here. All right, so let's see. We got a philosophical theory or approach which emphasizes the existence of the individual person as a free and responsible agent determining their own development through acts of the will. So that's a very broad and general description of it. So let's break it down some more. It's a philosophical, so it involves philosophy. Theory, so it's an idea or an approach, so it's a way that you go about trying to describe something or describe essays or a passage, which emphasizes, this is like the emphasis of the theory, the existence of the individual person. Okay, so that seems to be like a simple statement, like it seems to be like kind of like a throwaway, but it's not, because they're saying the person exists and also that they're an individual. So we're already kind of getting to mentions of free will and stuff. As a free, meaning they're free to do what they want, and responsible agent, so they're an agent, but they don't believe in God. So it's weird. Determining their own development through acts of the will. So basically, a person has their own freedom to develop in whatever way they want and to do their own actions using their own free will. Okay, so let's see. So I printed this out also. I made a little PowerPoint. So it's like, when you just search the word existentialism on Google, this is what comes up. So it would say, people ask questions like, what is existentialism in simple terms? Do existentialists believe in God? What is existentialist versus nihilist? What is an example of an existentialist? And then I think Wikipedia also has a better definition of it. It says, existentialism is a form of philosophical inquiry that explores the issues of human existence. Existentialist philosophers explore questions related to the meaning, purpose, and value of human existence. Okay, so that's a really good definition. And then we got some memes and stuff. So it says, then, and then it's like a guy standing alone and says, why am I here? And it says now, why am I here? And it's a guy on the computer. So basically, then it's like a guy standing in the forest without any technology. Then now it's just a guy sitting at his computer with all this access information and wondering the same thing, why am I here? And that's all really good information. All right, so we're gonna go on now to the next thing. So, do existentialists believe in God? Those are all important questions. So if you look it up online, they're gonna say, not really. Existentialists don't believe in God. Existentialism is about being a saint without God, being your own hero, without all the sanction and support of religion or society. That's what they're gonna say online. And then they're gonna say, although the most popular voices of this movement were French, most notably Jean-Paul Sartre and Simone de Beauvoir. Well, let's go back for a sec. So, existentialists don't believe in God, but it's not like they're trying to create their own religion. And it's not really that sure whether or not, some of them probably do believe in God. I would say the later ones, Nietzsche and stuff, probably do. But yeah, So it says, although the most popular voices of this movement were French, most notably Jean-Paul Sartre and Simone de Beauvoir, as well as compatriots such as Albert Camus, Gabriel Marcel, and Maurice Merleau-Ponty, the conceptual groundwork of the movement was laid much earlier in the 19th century by pioneers like Soren Kierkegaard and Friedrich Nietzsche, and 20th century German philosophers like Edmund Husserl, Martin Heidegger, and Karl Jasper, as well as prominent Spanish intellectuals Jose Ortega and Gasset and Miguel de Unamuno. So yeah, so that's one thing. And then, so why did existentialism even come to be? Like, what made it? Well, it was a response to the horrors of World War II and Hiroshima and Nagasaki and all the bad stuff that happened during World War II. So during World War II, you know, like there was the Holocaust, all this stuff that was bad, and the world was really in shambles and stuff. People didn't know how to respond. People who went to war didn't know how to respond, and they needed some sort of idea about what all this suffering and what all this, death and disease and all this stuff that was so cast upon innocent people, what that meant about like God and the world and in the future, and like their future. So that's how existentialism came to be. That's like it's basically it. I mean, I think that's good for that. So then I got another quote here. Beyond the plays, short stories, and novels by French luminaries like Sartre, Beauvoir, and Camus, there were Parisian writers such as Jean Genet and Andrei Gide, the Russian novelist Leo Tolstoy, and Fyodor Dostoevsky, the work of Norwegian authors such as Henrik Ibsen and Knut Hamsun, and the German language iconoclast Franz Kafka and Rainer Maria Rilke. The movement even found expression across the pond in the work of the lost generation of American writers like F. Scott Fitzgerald and Ernest Hemingway. Mid-century beat authors like Jack Kerouac, Allen Ginsberg, and William S. Burroughs, and the self-proclaimed American existentialist Norman Mailer. So basically you can see like how we're getting into the idea of like person is power and really the importance of free will and how we all have really a lot of power. So what distinguishes existentialism from other movements in the intellectual history of the West is how it's stretched far beyond the literary and academic worlds. Its ideas are captured in films by Ingmar Bergman, Michelangelo Antonioni, Jean-Luc Godard, Akira Kurosawa, and Terrence Malick. Its moods are expressed in the paintings of Edvard Munch, Marcel Duchamp, Pablo Picasso, Paul Cézanne, and Edward Hopper, and in the vitiated forms of the sculptor Alberto Giacometti. Its emphasis on freedom and the struggle for self-creation informed the radical and emancipatory politics of Martin Luther King Jr. and Malcolm X, as well as the writings of Black intellectuals such as Ralph Ellison, Richard Wright, and W.E.B. Du Bois. Its engagement with the relationship between faith and freedom and the incomprehensibility of God shaped the theological debate through the lectures and writings of Karl Barth, Paul Tillich, and Martin Buber, among others. And with its penetrating analyses of anxiety and the importance of self-realization, the movement has had a profound impact on the development of humanistic and existential approaches to psychotherapy and the work of a wide range of theorists. Okay, so it says including R.D. Laing, Rollo Moy, Viktor Frankl, and Irvin Yalom. Okay, so there's like one really important sentence here. So it says, I'm gonna get my marker. So it says here, that its engagement with the relationship between faith and freedom, and the incomprehensibility of God, shaped theological debates through the lectures and writings of Karl Barth, Paul Tillich, and Martin Buber.